if
Oh,
we,
you got
Brandon.
Andy
Microphones?
live?
He said they're off right now, but if you want to speak, you turn
Yeah.
it on and turn it off, because it might get into the.
Okay.
He might get some feedback. If
Yeah,
he's
so we'll have it
pipe
off when
in
Jeff.
the audio
and
directly
turn it
from
on.
Jeff.
Just turn it on when you want to.
Have we got Andy on Zoom?
No,
No, couldn't make it?
well, I don't think he offered, but
Oh, huh?
Yeah, he's
I
in
got,
Florida.
I got
Well, I
enough
know
of
he
you.
is, but I thought he wanted to be on the,
I thought I sent him that link, but
only smart one in the bunch.
Well, you know, Florida was calling my name.
Oh, it was, and you didn't answer.
I didn't answer yet, but I'm booked for till the 27th.
yeah, I'm,
Gone. Out the door one more time. It'll be my last trip probably for
alright,
Spring.
so,
this was the right weather to Ben Bond though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw his actually had at the auction Saturday.
Did ya?
In a while, yeah, sure.
So all this hay equipment you have out there, is that,
For sale.
well, what is that hay behind and the one baler? Is that any good? Are they wore
Well,
out?
hey, no, the hay vine, I'm really don't care if I ever sell it because I use it.
Oh, do you? Well, then what do you have it for sale for?
I set it out there because I didn't have room in town here, and if it sells, I'll buy another one.
Oh,
Yeah. But I normally bale with the swather. I mean,
Okay.
mow with the swather. Golf
okay.
with the swather.
I'm
And
gonna
then
try to
the
test
one
mine.
baler's the good one? The other one looks like a pretty old one, so.
Well,
The
Hey
big one.
Jeff, how are you
the
doing?
big one is, it's got some issues.
I'm doing alright. We're just getting some things tested out here. I've got
We got time
Scott
to
with
put
those
down
kind of
bail.
boys.
Oh, yeah.
I get a lot of calls on them.
We bailed a bunch
Well,
of, we
well.
bailed a bunch of square bales here this summer, and so we actually, we planted some more wheat, so we bailed a little
Oh,
more.
you got my video
You get Zach
walked
to
out,
help
which
on
is
the
perfect.
bailing?
Well, sure I did. He got to do a lot of it. Good for him.
Good
Builds
answer.
character.
Yeah.
At 100
So-
degrees, why not? So,
Yep. We probably will get you tonight. Did you get stuck?
Yeah, I'm getting some, I'm picking up you on this.
No.
Pipe the
I
microphone.
don't.
No,
Oh.
just the audio.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I have 6:15.
Okay, yeah, we'll get you tomorrow.
I need more.
She's got fours, right? Yeah. She'll call me if she gets stuck. Okay. Yeah. No, she'll call. Okay.
Here's what Mark will make
Yep.
it, right?
Mark's coming.
There he is. We have a full,
Another brave one.
we have a full group. Okay. Well, we're gonna hit,
Find
call
a
our
room on the
meeting
way
to
over
order,
here.
February 15th.
Is that working,
Yeah.
Scott?
Here in a little bit.
I had a red velocity
We
to get
can-
over to
We will do a
almost
pledge of
218,
allegiance
and I paid
first.
116, I couldn't
I
find the red
pledge
velocity.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right.
Father in heaven, we thank you for another day, even though it's a little bit on the difficult side to get around. And we thank you for the people that are dedicated enough to come here and give our input and our help to make Wells County a better place. We pray that anything we do and say will be pleasing unto you. In thy name, amen.
Amen. Okay, welcome all. Make a note that Andy is not here tonight for the minutes,
Okay.
so. And,
Turn your mic on.
oh,
Turn
sorry.
your mic on and talk.
So we will go ahead and begin here. We had a few items to cover here in a little business meeting before we do our public hearing. One would be a payment of claims. Nate, could you get us what that total is and how much?
Yes, I've got one volt. Is that working there?
Turn down my son.
Hold on.
Might have to, I think there's two Well County connections, you might have to mute one of them.
I'm gonna mute this one right here. There we go. All right.
Technology is always good when it works, right?
All right, sorry about that. Invoice 1914 to BCS Management for $7,651.
Okay.
Yep, so that's the
in line
invoice
with
that
our
I have.
budgeted
That was part
contract.
per $55,000 contract, so just one of those claims, I think I got left out from the last bunch that we had over to Trent. So I just wanted to, since we had an opportunity at tonight's meeting, bring that
Sure.
one up.
Okay, so did anyone comment or question on that particular claim? If not, I'll take a motion.
What is the amount again, Nate?
$7,651.
Okay.
So no comment or question on that? A motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Leon's got a second? Okay, those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Okay, and then I believe Mark has our preliminary engineering report document that was reviewed at our last meeting. That's now in good order as far as the legalese, isn't it, Mark, is that correct?
Yes, I made changes to that.
Okay, so if that's in good order now, we can approve the preliminary engineering report and scope of work that was presented on those sites from the last meeting, correct?
Yeah, and I'll cover the, yeah, that's a. It's the SRF loan program preliminary engineering report acceptance resolution. And so it just confirms that the PER was prepared then by Choice One Engineering, that you held a public hearing on that. I think that was in June. I'll fill the date in on that. That's just whereas the Board of Trustees finds that there was not sufficient evidence presented in objection to the scope or design of the project recommended in the PER to warrant a change in the project as designed and proposed. Therein therefore be it resolved that the preliminary engineering report, which was from June, which was submitted upon which you held your hearing, is approved and adopted by the Wells County Regional Sewer District Board of Trustees. The same will be submitted to the State Revolving Loan Program for review and approval, adopted by the board. So need a motion to approve the SRF Loan Program PER acceptance resolution.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Elliot made a motion to approve the report, is there a second?
Second.
Bruce has a second, okay, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, motion carries 4-0.
I've got three of those, so I'll send them down for signatures, for everybody to sign.
You'll need all three signed then,
I'll have you sign all three just in case.
okay,
I'll have one for Nate, and I can send one to Brian.
okay.
And nowadays we email everything, but just in case somebody wants an original, I always like to get a couple extra.
Okay. Okay, we have a few minutes here before we can start that public hearing, so
Mark, did you want to go through any of the items that you had on the list after the public hearing?
We also have another resolution to approve, and this is an SRF form, and this is the SRF Loan Program Signatory Authorization Resolution. Interesting thing about it is it doesn't, when I read that, to me it says following individuals are hereby authorized to sign, but I think this just means it authorizes to make application, which you've done. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the governing body, the participant of Wells County Regional Sewer District be authorized to make application for state revolving loan fund and provide SRF program such information, data, and documents pertaining to the loan process as may be required, and otherwise act as the authorized representative of the participant. The participant agrees to Ohio State and federal requirements as they pertain to SRF loan program. Two certified copies of this resolution be prepared and submitted as part of the PER, adopted and approved by the Board of applicant or Wells County Board of Sewer District Board of Trustees. So I need a motion to approve that, and I'll send this down for signature. In one version they have here just with Mike signing as president and then Nate as secretary, but I prepared another one where you all sign, that way there's so I need a motion to approve that SRF loan program signatory authorization resolution.
Okay.
It's called.
So can we get a motion to approve the SRF loan? I guess we're all,
I'll make that motion.
okay.
I'll second it.
Motion, okay, and Leon has seconded, okay.
All
Motion
right,
made,
so
seconded,
I'll
those in
send that
favor,
down.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
One more thing that I have, I prepared a separate authorizing resolution, just so that it's clear who can execute all closing documents. Oftentimes, we see, it seems like sometimes, SRF ask us to get this after the fact, but this is basically very similar to that, except I've just designated here Mike Mossberg, Leon Burning, and Andrew Stoller, or either of them be authorized to make application for an SRF loan and provide the state with the documents. The same are hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to close on the financing of the project. That gives you guys, and that way they see this authorizing resolution. When they see all the closing documents signed, they know the individuals that signed those documents had authorization to sign those documents.
So it's any or all three?
Any or either of them.
Okay.
That way, chances are it'll just be set up for two signatures, usually the president and the secretary, or the president and the treasurer. But I thought we'd just authorize all three, and that way, whenever we get the documents, Randy will get those to us, and then we'll have to have we'll have to get together and get them all signed. But this authorizes you gentlemen to sign those documents whenever they're prepared.
Okay, okay.
Need a motion to approve, then this is, again, a signatory authorizing resolution of the sewer district, and we'll give this a resolution number. This will be resolution number 2021 dash, whatever the next one is, Nate. I know ordinance-wise, we're on number 1, resolution, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll have to. Let's see if I can.
Let's fill that in.
We had a resolution for the schedule, and I think we had a resolution since then.
So this was called a resolution or an ordinance?
No, this is a resolution, but we're gonna give it an actual number.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on here. 'Cause we did not pass a resolution.
Again, what it's called now.
There wasn't a resolution at the last meeting, correct? So, I'll go through
It's
that.
just a signatory authorization resolution of the Wells County Regional Sewer District, resolution number 2021 dash, and then we'll sign the number, and it's whatever sequential number it is, but we have a motion to adopt this.
Your calendar was resolution 1,
Yeah, I saw that one.
and then I have down here that during our meeting on February 8th, there was a resolution 2, the PER recommendation. So I think that resolution we just passed on the
That would
PER,
be number 2.
that would have been number 2. We tabled that one, so what you just passed was resolution 2021-02.
And then we
The
just had the
authorization resolution is 2021-03.
And this would be 4. This is the second version of that, it just specifically names individuals, so.
Oh, so that's 4. So the 2021-02 was the PER
Correct.
approval.
So I'll send that one down.
So that was 3, then this is resolution 4. Okay.
So a motion to approve.
So I'll make a motion to approve the signatory resolution.
Okay, so there's a motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Bruce has a second, okay, motion's been made and seconded, those in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
Aye.
Mark, do we all need to sign that, or
Opposed?
just those three?
Motion carries for.
No, everybody signs that
Everybody
one.
signs it.
Okay, sorry, I need to get, the motion was by,
LA, seconded by Bruce.
Bruce. Okay. Moving right along here. Still waiting for 3 minutes.
Anytime we can say it's a good time.
Here it is.
We'll cover this when we can cover this when we get to the end, but I did get the, this is the bond council, bond council's work and fee engagement letter. So this is for Randy Rompola to do all the legal work for the bond ordinance up to a closing, which, pre-closing, I know we'll be sending documents in, I believe, on the 24th. I talked to them today. There's certain things that we'll still need to get to them. But they're gonna try to send those documents in on the 24th. Pre-closing should occur on March 10th. And final closing would be March 24th. So that's what's on our calendar, that's the track that we're on, so.
You say March 10th is the next? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
March 10th is pre-closing. So we'll need to sign documents before, on or before March 10th.
At our
We
March
have
8th meeting would work
meeting.
for that?
March 8th.
That would work if he can, yeah, as long as he gets everything to us, we ought to be able to do
Okay,
that.
so we'll figure out March 8th. And what did you say the other March was? March?
March 24th is the final closing.
Okay, 24th. So
And this is for, again, Barnes and Thornburg and fees for bond counsel, which they began last, I suppose it would have been late last fall, whenever he prepared the rate ordinance.
Sure.
And so we introduced and adopted the rate ordinance, and then he's reviewed the bond ordinance. We did the bond ordinance last fall. And then prepared the rate ordinance, and that's what we're having a hearing on tonight. And the rate ordinance, if that gets adopted, then we'll move towards closing.
Okay.
Document signed, and hopefully we'll have closing. The fees for Barnes and Thornburg on the serving as bond counsel is $35,000, and so that's what this engagement agreement is. And we can sign that when we get, after we get out of the meeting. I've got that, and we already signed Baker Tilly's, I think, last meeting. And so then we've got one for ours for legal services, basically since 2019 through the end of this project, so I'll submit that to you.
Okay.
All that money's in the budget, so we can cover that when we get to it.
Okay. Well, I have 6:30. At this time, we'll suspend our sewer district meeting, and we will open it up for our public hearing on the rate ordinance number 2021-1. And I think we're going to turn it over to Jeff Rowe, Baker Tilly, to make that presentation. Is that correct, Jeff? Welcome.
Yeah, hi, good evening. Can you hear me okay?
I think we'll turn the volume up just a little. Can you get a little more volume there?
I turned it way down.
Okay,
How about now?
it's getting better.
All right, testing.
And,
How about now?
okay, Mike.
I'm cool.
Okay, I think you're good, Jeff.
We're good, Jeff.
All right, great. Well, good evening, everyone. Yeah, just wanted to give a brief overview regarding the calculation of the rates, the final rates and charges that we're recommending to the district. And I'll try to be brief, but really, the main takeaway here is that, as the Board of Trustees knows, that the state has granted over $6.6 million of the $7.1 million project in forgivable principal forgiveness ban. What essentially means is that it's essentially a grant that, as long as the district complies with all the requirements of SRF, that $6.6 million will be forgiven. So without that, obviously, that would be a pretty tough, if not impossible project to take on. So grateful for the state's participation in the $6.6 million. That does leave a balance of just over $500,000 in bond money that the district will be lending or a participant of the SRF program in. It's a 35-year bond. and the interest rate will be at 2.3%. So we have built that into the repayment of that bond into the proposed rates and charges that have been incorporated into the rate ordinance for the public hearing and potential adoption this evening. We've also worked with the district and the district's consulting engineer to estimate and also BCS to come up with an estimated annual operation and maintenance allowance. And the total for those annual costs, once the district is up and running, full operations is just under $195,000 per year. And about a third of that represents the wholesale treatment cost that the district will pay to the city of Bluffton for treatment of the sewage disposal. In terms of total customers and what we call equivalent single-family dwelling units, which is essentially the basis for determining the rate, we have just under 200 customers, or 200 EDUs rather, about 194 give or take. So based on that final house count number or EDU count number, when you take the annual estimated operation and maintenance expense number of $195,000, and then you add to that the annual repayment of the debt service on the $500,000, which is around $22,000 per year, plus the funding of the debt service reserve, which is around $4,400, we come up with a rate of $95 per month. So that's the rate that is reflected in the ordinance for the district's consideration this evening. I will add that there will be an interim rate that will be charged to the customers once the bonds are closed in March. And that rate will be $35 per month. And that rate will be in effect until the sewer system is in place and ready to connect, essentially substantial completion, either the earliest of substantial completion or January 1st of 2022. At that point, the full rate, the full $95 rate will go into effect. So that is just a quick overview of the final rate recommendation and overall financing package. I think I heard Mark mention earlier that we're scheduled to pre-close with SRF on March the 10th and then followed by closing on March 24th. So prior to that, obviously the rate ordinance will have to be adopted as a precursor to close. So with that, I will turn it back to the board and be happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
What I think we probably need to do then is temporarily adjourn your board meeting and open up the public hearing.
Oh, okay.
Well, there was
We
no
already
vote,
did
he
that.
just kind of did it.
Did it
We didn't
override.
have he didn't take a vote to adjourn
Okay,
it.
but I think you want to
Okay.
have a motion to temporarily suspend
Okay.
the regular meeting and open up the public hearing, and then we can take public comments, and then at the end of that, you can close the public hearing and reopen your meeting.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we close the board meeting and open up the public hearing meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Leon's the second, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is
Now-
the time scheduled for the public hearing on the rate ordinance, which was advertised then in the newspapers for tonight's meeting. And so now's the time to take any public comments that you may have on the proposed rates and charges that are set forth in rate ordinance 2021-1, which is the first rate ordinance to be considered for adoption by the Wells County Regional Sewer District. And so that ordinance is before the board tonight. So we've got public hearings. So do we have any public comments? It's obviously kind of a difficult evening to be out, so we're going to be taking comments based upon whoever's listening, and hopefully we can hear their questions and we can answer them.
And one of the things that we did was put up the the RSD's website or email address is one of the ways to try to make comments. I just tested the system just now as I'm sitting here to make sure that everything was working. My test email came through. I have not received any emails as far as comments on the RSD system and your rate ordinance.
How long do we want to give a period of time?
No comments. No comments.
Did we have any, were there anybody available on any dial-in or?
Well, what we've got with Wells County Voice, just looking to see if there are any comments being posted on the channel right now as far as those that are watching. And we have none at this time. And we have no public in attendance here tonight.
Well, I'd give it a few minutes. Do the board members have any comments or questions on the rate ordinance?
I'll simply say that I'm pleased to see that we were able to get to our place where we had an intended $95 rate. It was early on discussed at our initial hearings, and I'm glad to see that we got to that place. Obviously, the help of LA on getting those folks talked to and getting a good general public feel for it, that they're all on board, that's a very good positive.
Thank
in my
you.
view.
That was very, very helpful, so thank
Glad,
you.
glad you, people were very receptive, I'll say that.
I'd like
Not a
to,
hard sell.
I'd like to see it recorded in the minutes that LA be thanked for all of his labors.
Yeah, we've got seven.
I got three more, I
We've got
think.
3 more, okay, so we'll consider those here after the public hearing.
I didn't bring them along, we worked till almost 6 o'clock.
As I say, I think that's something,
No,
that
but-
a testament to the whole project.
Well,
It's been a very positive outcome, and obviously people that didn't have to hook up
Right.
chose to as
They-
an option.
They chose to, yes.
So I think they can see that there's a great benefit here for those that participate in the project as a whole.
Good. On the rate ordinance, there's one clarification on the rate ordinance, and that's just on the addendum that has the EDU schedule. And I spoke to Jeff about that here today, but this is actually something that we clarified on the ordinance in Adams County. On Appendix A, equivalent single-family dwelling units, or the EDUs, we just clarified that it's always a minimum of 1 EDU, okay? Then if, for example, like an apartment complex, it's a minimum of 1 EDU or 0.75 per unit, but it can't be less than 1. You have a schedule also where, example would be office building without showers per employee, there's a unit rate there, but the minimum is 1 EDU, so it's 1 EDU plus the number of employees in that calculation. So we've spelt that out. It's in the ordinance itself, but I think it's important to also have it on the appendix, because when you go and read that, you're trying to figure out, well, how do we come up with your rate? It can be confusing if that's not spelled out, I think, on the appendix, so we made that change. But other than that, the other change was the rate went down, the initial, so it is $95 per month is the proposed rate, which includes all the cost of the district overhead, and then the debt service charge, total monthly bill $95.
Okay, I have a question. Is it determined how the churches, for example, will be billed?
Yep, that's all in the
Okay.
schedule here.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that a chart that, you pull off of the state requirements, or?
Well, that is how I know Jeff looked at flow, and I know they looked at, the cost of providing service through the Bluffton treatment plant and the flow, and that's how they came up with that. There are charts that serve as kind of a baseline tables, but then this is what, they developed. And so for church, again, it'd be 1 minimum EDU, and per sanctuary seat is 0.016, and so you figure the seats, and it may be less than, it'll always be at least 1 EDU, but it could be a little more than that, depending upon, seats for congregation.
Yeah.
But the idea being that flow, or that rate is based upon, usage for churches. They don't anticipate, you don't have folks there a whole lot during the week. And And so that's how it's all calculated. So, you know, the rate for a church is much less than a rate for you know, an office building and other operations that have, you know, pretty much 5 days a week operation. Of course, office buildings don't typically have showers, and so, you know, all of those rates are based upon flow, anticipated normalized flow usage. So,
Have we gotten any other questions,
I keep
comments?
checking,
Nate?
refreshing my email, and I've seen nothing.
Okay.
And then
And
showing no
Scott,
comments.
nothing from the voice either.
Mark, this is Jeff. Just one clarification on the rate ordinance number. I was looking at the bond ordinance. I saw that was number 2021-1. And I think I heard someone say the rate ordinance would be 2021-1. I just want to make sure that we've got the correct rate ordinance assigned, or correct number for the rate ordinance assigned.
the bond ordinance was, it should have been, and I just looked at that
Maybe.
earlier. The bond ordinance, I
I
believe,
should say the same thing. I had the bond ordinance at, I thought I had it at 1 as well.
but I think, check and see, the bond ordinance was introduced in 2020, and so we kept that as 2020-1. I believe,
And Mark, I might also,
Trouble hearing you.
yeah, let me, hang on here, let me see.
and Mark, I might also suggest that it be mentioned for the record that the note of the hearing, and I apologize because I'm having trouble logging in here, but you may have said this already, but the notice was published
Yes,
according to the requirements of the statute 2 times.
yes, I think, and Nate's, I believe, got the proof of publication, so we'll want to make sure that we make that a matter of record. You have the proof?
I requested that for the paper, I didn't get that from Martha, the proof.
Yeah, we'll need to have the proof of publication to be submitted as part of the bond transcript. Do you know which publication this was? This is
That
one
was
of
the first one,
the first one. And
and I didn't get the second one cut out.
when was this, but you saw the second one was published as well?
I believe so, yes, I see that was, the dates are subscript on that. It was 120,
Yeah, it's 128 and then 24. So first publication was January the 28th and the second publication on February 4. Because the second publication was 10 days prior to the hearing, so. So we'd ask the board to make the record of publication a matter of record. Need a motion to make the publication a matter of record.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. There's a motion to make it a matter of public record that the public notice was in the paper twice. For a second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
signify by saying
Aye.
Aye. So 4-0.
Randy, do we need to do anything else on the notice for publication?
No, that's perfect, thank you.
On that bond ordinance, I was thinking on the bond ordinance that we introduced the bond ordinance in 2020.
that's coming.
And I think we assigned number 2020-1 to that
No, we got a
ordinance, and then when we
question.
adopted it,
Would
we
you want me
kept
to
that
pose
number,
it
because that's when it was
to everybody?
introduced.
Yeah, I'd read it off, but I don't know if you want to read.
I can read it off, huh?
We do have one public
Mark,
question coming up.
just looking at the bond ordinance, even though it was adopted in January, it had the December when it was introduced, that number, so.
Okay, I know we were trying to make sure we kept those straight, but I think we introduced the bond ordinance in 2020, and we assigned, I think, number 1 to it. And then when it was adopted as bond ordinance 2020-1. Do you have that, Nate?
Hey, Mark, or Nate, this is Jeff. I'm having trouble hearing Mark. I just want to make sure I've got the rate ordinance number down correctly.
Yeah. Bond ordinance 2020-1.
Nate, can you repeat that?
Yep,
number one more
sorry,
time?
2020-1.
Is the bond ordinance.
That's,
The bond ordinance.
but that's the bond ordinance.
Correct. The bond ordinance,
The ordinance should be 2021.
yes, that's what we have it, that's how we have it labeled.
Got it.
And I think we had one question come in on the YouTube stream. I think John Henry asked how long the rate would stay at $95. The answer to that would be, that it would be in effect until the district looks at rates again. We don't know exactly how long that will be in effect, but the district will be, assessing rates again at the end of the project once it's been under full operation. I wouldn't expect that $95 to ever come down, but it certainly could go up at some point in the future. I hope that helps answer John's question.
I suppose, and I'll let the board speak to this as well, but I believe the intention would be to keep it at that rate as long as possible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I concur.
Okay. Did we get your questions answered then on the ordinance numbers?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're good with the ordinance number 2021-1 for the rate ordinance and 2020-1 for the bond ordinance.
Okay, good. That's how we have it signed, and that's how it was introduced and passed, so that's what we have here. Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yes,
Okay,
sounds good.
all right, good. Do we have any other questions?
Email. We have no other emails. And then no other comments on YouTube.
Randy, do you have anything to add?
No, I think we're good, thank you.
I guess what we would plan to do then is after we conclude the public hearing, then we'll have a motion to close the public hearing, and we'll reopen their regularly scheduled board meeting, and we'll finish up agenda items that we have. Not the least of which is to consider adoption of the rate ordinance.
We don't have to do that in public hearing.
Well, you actually need to adopt the rate ordinance in your business meeting, and that's how we have it published.
Okay, business meeting.
Correct. Randy, you okay with, you concur with that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's how we have it advertised. So the public hearing is for the purpose of taking comments on the rate ordinance itself, and then once you conclude the public hearing, then you reopen your regular meeting, and then we go back down the agenda, and right on the agenda is consideration of that rate ordinance.
Well, with no further comments from the public, I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded, those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, so then we just need a motion to resume your regular board meeting here, or special board meeting, I guess.
There's enough motions, I can't see.
I'll make a motion, we reopen our meeting.
Okay, motion's made and
I'll
seconded.
second that.
Lee seconded it. Okay.
All right, so let me grab the ordinance and we'll move on through the agenda here.
Well, at this point, that's the next step in procedure, correct, Mark? To adopt this ordinance as it's presented then, $95,
Yes. Unless you want to,
95.
change it.
No, I don't think so.
Unless we go down.
Might make getting the $6 million hard to do. Okay, well, is there any other comment or question on the ordinance as it's put out there for Jeff or anybody? If not, now's the time. We have a motion to approve the rate ordinance as it was presented.
I'll make that motion.
2021
Well, we need it, yeah, we need to have let's call it a motion to adopt
Okay.
rate ordinance 2021-1
Okay,
as presented and revised here this evening with a rate of $95 per EDU.
I'll make a motion that we adopt rate ordinance 2021-1 for $95.
okay, there's a motion made to adopt the rate ordinance, is there a second?
Second it.
Leon's made a second. Motion's made and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion, those opposed, motion carries 4-0. The rate is adopted.
All right, I'll circulate the ordinance here for signature and ask that you gentlemen, we've got 2 originals here for signature. Randy, do you need an original?
Ultimately, it'd be good. A scan will work for tomorrow, an email, but also if Brooke can send me an original, that would be great. The mail, regular mail's fine.
All right, is one okay, or do you need more than one?
No, just one.
All right.
Okay, what's next, Mark?
All right, so I'll pass this around. We've, here we go. Guess I might as well sit up here, it's a little easier here, I think.
Sure.
There's just 2 spots on there, Mark.
Yeah, just 2 separate ordinances, so everybody signs twice. Next thing we need to do, and I brought this up here earlier in the meeting though, we need to approve the fee service agreement for Barnes and Thornburg to serve as bond counsel on this issue. And I have that fee engagement agreement here, and that's to handle all of the legal obligations of the district through the closing of the transaction. And the total says will not exceed $35,000, and that'll be that is the fee engagement agreement, and we need to have that signed because we have to submit that to SRF prior to closing so that we can pay our bills.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve Barnes and Thornburg, the agreement that you have there, right? Mark, you've gone through it?
Yep, I've looked through it, and
I'll make a motion to approve the Barnes and Thornburg agreement.
Okay, there's a motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Bruce has a second. Motion's made and seconded, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, motion carries 4-0.
All right.
We all sign this one?
I think that just has, that may just have a signature for, Mike on there, quite honestly.
I don't have to pay the $6 million myself, right?
That's up to you. You can
I'll
only
give
work
you
good.
Let me read this, closer.
They'll help you.
There's certain times when you want to read it, right?
And we've got to do the same thing on work that we've done for the district, and quite honestly, this probably goes back to 2019, certainly 2020, and that is to handle all legal services in connection with this project, the startup of the project. The only thing this did not cover would have been, and I went back through and looked, I know we haven't submitted a bill for over a year. Maybe I just finally submitted one.
I'll have to look and see, I don't know that we've got,
I think I had
you gave
Brooks-
me one just at the last meeting.
Yeah, I had Brooks send one over, but I went through and took everything out that had to do with the project. And because if it's project related, then I think you ought to be covered under the monies that you budgeted for the project, and that way you get the benefit of that being reimbursed out of the project. Initially, and ours is 52,000, and but that covers back from 2019 to where we are and through the end of this project. Now, we've got separate, billing just for time spent with the board and preparing things for the board, but I think our bill that I looked at, and that's over the last year and a half or two, I think that was was it 8,000 or something?
I don't know if I have that in this.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason or another, I was thinking that when we did the budgeting on this, that I had figured more than this, but this is what I came up with. But anyway, it's less than Baker Tilly.
Hey,
Hey, he smiled, look at that, I saw him on camera, he
He
smiled
don't
when he said
care.
that.
He got his money.
But anyway, sooner or later.
And you had your back turned.
Yeah. Hi, Jeff.
Not fair. We had to look at him. But he smiled.
But anyway, that's what we had. I know we've got more than that budgeted, but at the end of the day,
You like doing this, though, this is fun.
just love it.
Even coming out in a blizzard at night, even better.
And I think, Jeff, I think we had more budgeted, and, sometimes we budget as much as we can, thinking that if we get into litigation, sometimes, and I can tell you in Adams County, that's happened. We don't have enough budgeted there, but you'll have, I think, money left over in that line item, and hopefully if we need it for other things, we'll have it. Do you know what we budgeted for legal, Jeff? Was it like 160 or something combined, or 166? And that's not legal, that's bond counsel, local counsel, financial advisor. We had a line item for that.
Yeah, that's right, we had, just shy of 167,000, and that included, like you said, bond counsel, local legal, rate consultant, and SRF, bond counsel fees.
Yeah, so
So we're in line on our budget, is what you're
Yep,
getting?
we're
at. Okay.
under what we budgeted, but what always ends up happening, well, not always, what we probably end up doing is providing a lot of other services, I suppose, to the board than what most legal counsel does, other than just
And the total here, agreement was what again? I didn't write it.
52.
52 even?
We need to make a motion to approve that, or?
If that's acceptable to you, then that's what we'll do.
Well, we wouldn't have been here without you. I think that's a fact. So,
Sooner or later, we gotta pay bills.
okay,
I'll make a motion.
okay.
Take care of that.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion is made by LA and seconded by Leon to approve the legal agreement with Burry and whoever else is there.
A lot of this is already, a great deal of it's already been done,
Sure, absolutely.
but that's why we,
No, as I
it's
say, that's perfect.
project related.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Congratulations, you can be our attorney.
Still here if I make it home tonight.
Yeah, that's right, you gotta still make it home, so.
Mark, is this just for Mike?
I think so. Yeah, I'm sorry.
There goes Mike again. Underwater.
Who's paying this again? Who's paying this one, Ted?
The other thing I have is the service area agreement between the Wells County Sewer District and City of Bluffton for the Liberty Center area. So I've gone back through this thing with Tony Crowell, attorney for the City of Bluffton, approved the changes. This is in line as far as the form of the document, and then he sent to me today the final exhibits, which I forgot to print all of them, but those were I think at the last meeting, I indicated to you that the buy-in fee changed a little bit. Jeff, I think, did you see, the buy-in fee was, for Liberty Center, I think was $141,400, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and so what I thought I would do, I know, the City of Bluffton, you know, I think is ready to get this signed, and I don't know if you gentlemen, I guess, when is our next meeting?
March 8th.
March 8th. Jeff, do you need to have this to submit along with the preliminary submittals to SRF? Do you have to have a signed agreement, or is if, I know we have the signed, obviously, Murray agreement, and the Liberty Center agreement is worked out, but does it have to be signed and submitted with your early submissions?
No, what we'll do, we'll just send the unsigned version and just let them know that we'll follow up with the signed version once it's signed by both parties.
Okay. I would prefer, you know, I've looked at the exhibits, I've gone back and forth with Tony, but until they're supposed to get it scheduled with the city and they're supposed to approve it, and I would like to see that for you gentlemen so that we sign it and we all know, yeah, those are the numbers that we agreed on, so.
But you're at that place,
Yes,
correct?
yes,
Negotiations settled? pretty
yes.
much? Okay.
My understanding.
Okay.
So,
And
So
it's
it's
very
not-
similar to the agreement with Murray and
All
Bluff?
the rates in that
Yes,
exhibit,
rates the
you know,
same.
The buy-in fee and the administrative fee and the rate per thousand, we've used those numbers, the most recent exhibits in the rate calculation, so, we feel comfortable that we should be covered there.
yeah, the treatment rate's the same.
Okay,
And so,
Good.
I mean, I think there was some minor changes to that buy-in fee. It wasn't real significant, but fortunately, you know, with the grant dollars that that the district received, you know, it still all works out, so.
Okay.
And we think it's a fair agreement with the City of Bluffton. They've been very cordial and they've worked with us in good faith, and I think we've got a good agreement.
good. Okay, well, we'll look for that on March 8th? then?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say, so we think we will have that signed before we get to closing then, right? I mean, that's.
Yes.
What I could hear is sounded like we anticipate at the March 8th meeting.
Yes.
Yes, that's certainly what we hope to accomplish, is to, and even at a minimum, we should have the final exhibits, you gentlemen, doesn't really matter who signs it first. It's just, we need, obviously, it has to get signed by both boards,
Correct.
so.
I just think that Jeff can correct me, but I do think they're gonna look for it to be signed before we actually, I don't know that they'll want it before the pre-closing, but definitely before the closing.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, absolutely.
Which our board meetings before both, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and if we have to have a special meeting, we'll call a special meeting, but I don't think we'll have a problem. Famous last words.
Well, the hard work's done, so,
Yeah, it should be.
okay. What else?
Randy, do you have anything else that you can think of? I'm kind of looking at our schedule.
No, I think we're in good shape. As I said, we'll probably be working on closing documents here in the next week or so that drafts around, and we likely will need to have documents signed before the March 8th meeting, I suspect, but maybe not. So I'll get with you, Mark, if we need them signed before then. We may have to track a couple of you down before then, but otherwise we can do it then. We'll see.
Well, we adopted about a half a dozen resolutions tonight authorizing everybody and their brother to sign these documents, so I think we'll be okay.
So long as not everybody runs off to Florida after the blizzard.
I take that back, 3 people.
I'll be out of town.
Not everybody, but authorize the president and the secretary and the treasurer, or either of them, to sign any and all documents. I would anticipate you'll have those set up for 2 signatures, so are you going to have it maybe for the president? Do you want the secretary or the treasurer on the attest?
I think usually the secretary, but if there's scheduling issues, you can just tell me, Mark, who's most available.
Okay, good. Because I think Andrew's secretary, he's the official appointed secretary for the board, because it needs to be a board member. Even though Nate serves as secretary for purposes of taking notes and preparing minutes for you, I think the secretary that signs the financing documents needs to be the board appointed secretary.
And who is that, Mark? Who's the board secretary?
Andrew Stoller, Stoller.
Two L's.
Oh, I screwed up. Stoller.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully I got that right on my resolution. I think I took it off some other document.
And just real quick, this is Jeff again. Mike, we have you as, at least for now, as the authorized representative on the financial due diligence paperwork that we're working on. So we're gonna be sending that out to you hopefully tomorrow,
Okay.
for, review and signature. So just wanna give you a heads up on that. You should see that coming through here in the next day or two.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll bring back the treatment agreement. I guess, anything else, Nate, you can think of?
No, I think we're in pretty good shape. This might be your fastest board meeting in a long time.
Well, I do have,
Here we go.
here we go. I do have 7 connection agreements I'd like to have the chairman sign, but this is just administrative and we can do that after the meeting, so, because we'll sign those as they come in, so glad to have those.
And you did get my phone number, the phone numbers, the email?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we just have one left at Liberty Center, and they weren't home,
Okay.
but I left a note on the door.
I got your emails the other day. I didn't get to any emails today.
Oh, okay.
I got your emails the other day for,
I sent
couple
you
of
the
them.
2,
Okay.
Scott Manier.
Oh, good.
And Shane, what's his last name? Kelsey, something? Yeah.
Kels? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So I got those 2 phone numbers.
Oh, good,
for you.
good.
And I also got the guy at Murray.
Schwartz?
Yes,
Oh, good.
yes,
Good.
caught him he just was home for a few minutes.
Good.
He said, yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah, so I sent his phone number.
Wonderful.
And I said somebody would be contacting him, so.
Wonderful, that's what I wanted.
That was 9 trips.
Thank you.
Wow.
Well,
But I was bound and determined I was gonna get that guy.
but having somebody here, to do those sorts of things, that, and knows people, that helps a lot.
It does, absolutely.
Okay. Gentlemen, you guys have anything else? Randy, Jeff?
Not from here. Thank you so much for accommodating the electronics here. Thank you.
You would have had a hard time getting home tonight.
Yes, indeed.
And you may still have a hard time.
I will have a hard time.
Follow Nate.
Yeah, well, I might follow him.
Nate might follow me.
Very well, gentlemen. Well, if we have nothing else from bond counsel and attorneys, does the board have any other comments or questions? I'd like to thank everybody for making it here tonight. Certainly appreciate Scott running the voice for us tonight as well. I'd say, glad that we all were able to make this happen. As I say, it's a good step forward. So, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's made and second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, we are adjourned.